Welcome to the Rich Flow of Life podcast. Join Valerie Kanay, the award-winning authority author, as she takes you on a journey for your personal evolution. Valerie Kanay talks to enlightened featured guests who hold the keys to unlock your unique life situation. They each bring to the table their very powerful personal spin to inspire and empower you to learn to step up your game into the rich flow of life.
Well, hello everybody. I'm Valerie Kanay, and today our featured guest is Amy Barroso, who I'm so proud, pleased, and honored to have joining us. You know, Amy is just a spectacular person. She is energetic, and when you meet her, you're just going to get hooked like I did because she's infectious. I just recently met Amy. She was sitting right next to me at a workshop in Toronto called the High Profit Speakers given by Doug. And we sat next to each other for about a couple of hours before I realized who Amy was. And she said, I'm Amy Barroso. And she went to talking to the crowd. I said, Amy, why didn't you tell me who you were sitting right next to me? As everybody know me because I do the podcast, but I didn't know who Amy was. So we giggled, we hugged, we laughed. And that was about that. But it was just really fun and she's infectious. So anyways, back to Amy. Amy is the award-winning author of the book, Why Can't We Be Friends? And it's all about 100 ways to love your ex again. Oh, wow. This is such a sensational thing, because Amy is a spearheader. That means she leads the way, a movement that she would tell you all about to keep kindness, love, and respect in the separation process during and after your divorce, as opposed to all that bickering, bitterness, bite biting, I'll hurt you because you hurt me, as so many people have experienced in their life. Oh, my friends, I tell you, it is a new day. Amy's on a mission to help others come out of transition with their spirits intact. She's also an entrepreneur, a coach, a life change agent. She's the founder of two companies, one being the Studio Pure Vita, and the other one is White Lightning Communications. And we're going to learn about those on this program. But oh my, oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. This is something so, I got to share this. Amy book has been endorsed by New York Times bestselling author Marcy Shimoff. She's the author of a few books, books like Happy for No Reason and Chicken Soup for the Woman's Soul. She has actually, oh yes, endorsed Amy's book. So wow, this is so huge. On that note, welcome, 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 Amy, to our program.
Thank you, Valerie. That was such a great introduction. And yeah, it was a big wow for me to have Marcy seek me out and do a video for me and take photos and give me some really awesome words of encouragement as I move forward with this topic.
Awesome. Amy, I'm so proud of you for all the things you have done. You just conquering one mountain after the other. And it is just so lovely to see people take things that are not so happy all the times in life, not so pleasantry in times of life, and turn it all around to something greater and put it in a whole new light and perspective. So I know with your book and everything that we're going to talk about here, you have a different approach. So just start right in and start telling us how your book is unique.
Well, Valerie, I'm kind of a feeling person. So I thought it would be interesting to create a book that could be read based on how you're feeling rather than reading it cover to cover. So with that in mind, I created a little system in the book called the brightness factor. It's a little chart. It's got 10 candles on it, and each flame it starts off with no flame and then goes up to bigger and bigger flames. And each flame and candle has a bit of a general description under it, how you might be feeling in that moment. So when somebody opens the book, you would hop to this brightness factor chart, and then you can quickly see where you're at. So maybe it would help if I gave an example. Is
Give
that
an
okay?
example. Yes, yes.
Okay. So I pick up the book and I am freaking out. I'm scared for my future and I'm angry and resentful for this horrible situation, divorce that I'm going through, right? So I quickly scan the chart and the first candle has no flame. And the description reads, I'm in a dark place filled with anger, hurt, fear, and bitterness. And then I realize, yeah, that's me. That's where I need to start. So the suggested chapter I start with, based on how I'm feeling, is on change and courage. So that's how a person could start reading the book. I mean, you can read it cover to cover, but I prefer that you take stock in how you're feeling and use that chart and then hop to the chapter that you need.
So what you're saying, Amy, is based on how you're feeling. There's every chapter in the book you can go and identify with the
Yes,
way you're
exactly.
feeling at that particular time. It's not like you need to start at page one. Okay,
No.
and go to page to the end. I can go within this book. This book is like a toolkit. Like if you need a hammer in the house to nail something or a screwdriver to yeah, like
Yes,
that. It's like a
that's what
toolkit,
it is.
right? Where you can go and get into what you need right away. And I think that's incredible. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. So I can, like maybe I could give an example of an exercise within Change and Courage. Would that be okay?
Fine.
Okay. So one of the exercises is called change of scenery. So I found that most people are good with change if it's their idea, right? Like I'm changing a job to better my lifestyle or to bring me more happiness. However, if you were laid off, the change is a little bit harder to accept. So same with divorce. If it was your idea or if you initiated it, then you might have an easier time. But if the divorce wasn't your idea, then you may be having some difficulty, and this chapter will give you some ways to embrace your and strengthen your change muscle, right? So the change of scenery is just that. You pick a room in your house and you rearrange it. It sounds simple, but honestly, Valerie, it hits you on all levels. It's a physical thing, so you can get your frustrations out by moving heavy furniture around. It's a mental thing because you have to actually think about where you're going to move these things. Plus, it occupies your mind with thoughts of where to put the furniture, not how to kill your ex.
Mhm. Okay, so you're rearranging things out in the physical world as well as in the mental and spiritual world.
Yeah,
You're doing these things
so
simultaneously. I love that, Amy, because one things, a lot of people out here nowadays, we are fast forward thinking humans now. We're not afraid to talk about a lot of things like in the past we didn't do. So
right.
knowing that we live in two dimensions at one time, or however they come together, whatever we execute in one is going to show up in the other. So I get you.
Right. So this exercise is particularly good if you happen to be the one who's in the matrimonial home, like your ex has moved out and you're in the home. So, you walk into your house and oh, that's the chair he used to leave his coat on, or that's the sofa she used to read her book on. So if you can rearrange your space so that when you walk into your home, the first room you see has now been a little disrupted, right? Like it's kind of moved around. So you don't actually connect with those same thoughts anymore. So it's kind of cool that way. Plus, I believe you interviewed Laurel Collins
Yeah,
about feng shui,
yeah.
right?
She's
Right.
feng shui.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I just listened to her podcast just before starting because I think what feng shui is all about is creating the perfect flow of energy in your space. So you can enlist Laurel to help you, or Google feng shui and see how you might bring that into your world too.
Awesome. Because this is a great thing here, Amy, and I love this that you even hit up on this point and giving Laurel her props too, because she's my friend, and Laurel is great with the feng
Yeah, I got to
yeah,
support.
yeah, getting everything together in the home, work, business wise, doesn't matter. She's a feng shui expert, but it's so great that you bring this out because a lot of times what people don't realize, I wouldn't say fail, I would just say don't really realize is that your environment is key and fundamental to the way you are. Like you said, you walk in and you see that your ex's coat hanging on a chair that automatically put you in a state of mind that where you feel, oh my God, you could miss them, you can long them, you can feel the hurt, the pain, or whatever associated that was not positive, endearing. And so just by shifting, moving things around, you can swing it all around to your favor. And these are the things that help make you friendly. Like you say, love, you can see the kindness and remember the good instead of the bad. Am I on point with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it breaks your connection with the way things used to be, which is also helping you embrace change because you did it on a small scale in your living room. And then it opens you up to changing other things in your life too.
Oh, good stuff, good stuff. So this goes right into the next thing that we're going to be talking about, and that's the letting go ritual. And so just kind of give a brief description of what the letting go ritual is and how, the whole separation vow, just break it down, Amy. Get in there and break
Sure.
it down. Okay.
So, in most cultures, we have a wedding ceremony, and the ceremony usually includes your wedding vows to one another, right?
Right.
So it's my feeling that just because you have those woohoo divorce papers in your hands, right?
Right. Right.
You're not really you're not really disconnected from those wedding vows that you said to that person on that special day. So I believe it's really important to take some time to release yourself from those vows. So I wrote a sample in the book, and I can read it now,
Please
and you
read it
can
because I
say
was
it.
curious to know. I'm curious to know. Read the separation vows.
Yeah, so let's disconnect. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so it goes something like this. This chapter in my life has ended. I release myself and your ex's name from our wedding vows. I do this because it is the most loving thing we can do for one another. I do this so he and I, or she and I, can move forward kindly, lovingly, and respectfully in all areas of our life, right? So it's as simple as that. You can create the little ceremony yourself. You can do it over shots with your girlfriends,
Well, that's so cute, Amy.
or you can
I like how you said, let me get in there with you now, how you said respectfully, okay? Because it's
yeah.
all about the respect. And that's what we lose so much of when, things are not going our way. Well, you think they're not going your way because everything happens for a reason.
Well,
So,
exactly.
yeah, so it's going your way. But when you think, and then you replace that with respect, 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 just keep that up front, right?
Yeah, keep it up front. It's got to be there because, clearly respect leads to much better communication if you can just put yourself in someone else's shoes and keep it real.
Keep it real. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Those are things that we say, and we say it in passing, but it really, really makes a
No, you
put
totally
yourself.
have to live it when you're
Yes,
dealing
put
with your ex.
yourself in someone else's shoes. It's not all about me.
No,
Yes, someone
that's
else
right.
has feelings too. So this is how it works out. That's wonderful. So how does this system actually, okay, that's a briefing of it, but how does it work?
Well, you can create a little ceremony for yourself. Like I said, you can, do it over shots with your girlfriends in a bar. I don't know. Or you can light some candles to create like a sacred little space and release yourself. Yeah, it's up to you. So just saying the words, because as we found out when we were together this past weekend, words have energy, right? So if you use these words and you put that energy out there, then it'll come back to you tenfold,
Exactly.
hundredfold, right?
I even saw on my Instagram one time somebody had posted about spelling words or spelling, and in the
Mhm.
word spelling is spell. You can cast a spell whether it's good or bad.
Ah,
So yeah,
exactly.
yeah, spelling spelling. There's a spell in there. So do you want to cast a good one or a bad one? So
Oh,
yeah.
Valerie,
Yeah,
that's
that's a
awesome. I
powerful
haven't heard
meaning.
that.
So we have to,
I'm writing
we
that
learn, we
down.
share what we learn so that people can change their lives and they can be encouraged. So that's really wonderful. So let's just keep right on there. Oh, Amy, this is good. I'm loving this. Let's talk about change and courage.
Okay, well, as I mentioned earlier, it's a big one. So maybe, oh, I know what we can do. Um, if your listeners would like to try this, it's a really good one to show you how we are habitual creatures and how difficult it is to change. So, if while you're listening, not if you're driving, of course, but if you're sitting at home or you're at work, just fold your arms as if you were relaxed or bored, across your chest and see how that feels. So, feels good and comfortable.
Comfortable, right?
Now you're going to change your arms and put them the other way, meaning take the arm that was on top and put it underneath.
A little
Ugh.
different.
Yeah, it feels a little uncomfortable, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah, right.
So it's just good to notice that and to understand how change is really difficult to embrace, and it takes some practice, and just like anything else, practice makes perfect, right?
Yeah.
So
So how do you
um,
get the courage, Amy? That's a good one. How do you muster up the courage? You've been weakened. You don't, like I say, you feel like things are not going your way. So you're giving us some tidbits up there before. You're going through your ritual, you're going through your letting go, you're rearranging the place. So all this stuff is to develop changes little by little into the courage. So where does that courage come from?
Oh, that's a good question. So I knew I was being courageous when I felt like I wanted to pee my pants or I felt like I wanted to throw up.
Mhm.
So it's really just pushing through that. And once you get to the other side of it, such amazing things happen. But it just start small is really what I'm saying. Like start with changing your room around. Some people are very apprehensive about even doing that. So if you can do that and sit in your chair and go, yeah, I did something cool today. I changed my world. My little car key box is not where it used to be, but I'll get used to it. And my TV is in a different spot, but I'll get used to it. And so baby stepping your way is really the easiest way to build courage. I'm not talking about, go get on a zip line and
I got you.
freak yourself out, but do little things.
I got you. And then, so a lot of times, too, what helps us to build our courage is when we get to a place of forgiveness, we operate from a place of love. These are the
Yeah.
things that replaces the opposite of that, which does
Yeah.
dissipate the courage. So forgiveness and love, elaborate on that for us, please, because that's in your chapters.
Right. So when I was going through my divorce, I listened to The Secret. Oh my God, over and over and over. And then from finding out about those people, I discovered Louise Hay, who is the author of Yeah, amazing, right? So
You
she
can heal
had.
your life is the one that helped me transform my life.
Oh, me too,
Yeah.
Valerie. It was
That
amazing.
really hit home. I appreciate Louise Hay for that so much. Yeah.
Oh yeah, me
Uh,
me as well.
okay.
Absolutely. So there was an exercise in her book, I believe it was called See Me as a Child. And it was actually an exercise about forgiving your parents, but I switched it around and put my ex in the child position, and it was a game changer for me. Like that was the thing that I know how to forgive now, because I didn't know how to forgive before. I never really understood it, or physically or mentally understood how to do that. So this exercise gave me a visualization that just knocked it out of the park. So it's a bit long for this interview,
Yeah.
but it's in the book, and it's called See Me as a Child. So if you're interested in a life changer, I would suggest you look Louise up, or you can look it in my book.
Absolutely. And since we giving people their props too, I interviewed not too long ago Paul McKinley, and his
Hmm.
whole podcast is basically on forgiveness. Because when you forgive people, it's not so much about the other person as it is for yourself. So that's one thing that you have to keep in mind, so they can listen to the podcast with Paul McKinley, and he goes deep about forgiveness. You,
Awesome. I will
yeah.
watch that as soon
Yeah,
as we're
yeah,
done.
watch that one. It's about for yourself. It's for everybody, but mainly for yourself, because it's like something I've heard before. Someone may have heard this or not. It's like you drinking poison and wanting the other person to die. Never gonna
Exactly.
happen.
That's a powerful example. I think
It's
that
never
quote's
gonna
actually in
happen,
my book.
So the
Yeah.
forgiveness is key to know that it is for yourself. But go ahead, Amy. It's getting good now. Talk about love.
Well, the title is 100 Ways to Love Your Ex Again. And I mean it sort of, how do I mean it? Figuratively. I don't mean you have to get back in love with your ex. I don't mean it like you need to create get back with them and move back in. It's about getting to a place where you can forgive so that you can love them. Like I say, I love my ex now as a brother, a close friend, as opposed to the husband and lover that he once was. So just opening your own heart, loving your own self, and allowing yourself to be open to seeing that person for who they are, and also what they were able to give, right? As Louise is a big advocate for accepting what someone can give you with no expectation,
No
right?
expectations, right? Yeah, you're just loving people from the core, the center of who they are. I'm going to share
Hmm.
this with you. One time I went to a retreat that was called the Art of Living. And we had a session in there where even if you went to this camp with your spouse or your mate or somebody you knew, this exercise, you had to get partnered with somebody who was not somebody you knew, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So you picked a total stranger and you were required to sit in front of them for about 10 to 15 minutes and just look them in the eyes. And they just look you in the eyes. And you couldn't say anything to them, they couldn't say anything to you. And when you do that with somebody that you completely don't know, you don't know anything about them, they don't know anything about you, you feel a connectivity and a love outburst from your soul and your heart like you can never experience, Amy. Because you don't know anything that they hurt you, they don't know anything that you've been hurt by, so all you see is total acceptance and love in another person's eyes. And when you try to look and without even blinking too much to just really connect with them. And that's when I really understood the real meaning of love.
Hmm.
Is yeah, when you really connect with people and there's no judgment involved.
Oh yeah, the judgment thing is a
Right.
big deal.
Yeah,
I
there's
mean,
no judgment involved. You don't know anything. Just come from the purest sense of self, just like when you were born. You just knew to love your parents. You didn't know anything about
Yep,
anything. You just knew to love. And so love is just pure. It's an essence of who we are, you know?
exactly. Yep. I've done one of those exercises too, and I wound up just tears pouring
Yes,
down my
we
face.
saw a lot of people was crying because you just come from a place of non-judgment and just a purity of
Yeah,
essence of who another individual is. They were born into this world just like you and I were, Amy, and you can't hold things against them that they just, knew or didn't know. I don't know the answers for everything, but you get what I'm saying, and most
I
people would
do.
get it
Yeah,
also,
yeah,
right? So that's the love that we feel just like you and I. We've known each other briefly, but there's a deep found lovingness that we have towards one another because we know inherently that we're all good people. We know these things, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So you got to have that compassion for your ex also because they're just really good people too. Things didn't go well. They didn't go right. They didn't go in the same direction for both of our lives, but we're still great, loving people towards one another. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Boy,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. Maybe I should have co-wrote this book with you, Amy. I don't know.
I think so. I think
I
it would
love it.
be
I
a
love it.
very fun book to write
I
with you.
know it. So let's get on with the passion and the power. I love those two words, the two P's.
Yeah, the two P's, pretty big P's, that's for sure. So each chapter is sort of it has two words. So grace and respect, kindness and compassion, honesty and happiness. And so the 10 chapters are put that way because, as I said at first, I'm a feely person. So I felt
I
like this
feel
was how to connect. So the passion, when I was married, and maybe other people did too, I set aside my passions really for the good of the family. And my ex used to get upset with me because he would say, you're not passionate about anything. And I'm like, I am. I feel like I'm a passionate person. It's just when he wanted me to think of something, I actually could not put my finger on what I was passionate about. So back in 2014, I think it was, I went to a Woman in Power conference, and Janet Bray Atwood was at this conference, and she co-wrote with her ex-husband, by the way, Chris Atwood, the Passion Test. So the Passion Test is a system that she ran the entire audience through to help you get focused on what you're passionate about. And I'm like, yeah, right. Okay, if I can't think of it, how's this woman going to help me? But honest to God, Valerie, like it worked. In this big, huge audience with 500 people in the room, I, little me, discovered what I was passionate about. And not only that, I was passionate about creating a movement, like not just a little one, like, oh, I'm passionate about gardening. This was like, I wanted to change the world. So I signed up for their facilitator course, which was down in Miami. And whoa, mama, it was like a 4-day therapy session.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So, Amy, I could talk to you forever and a day. As our program nears to the end, I did want to have you just give a little bit about what your two companies are and how a
okay.
person can hook in and joint venture with your movement. And let's kind of sum it up at this point because we could just go on forever and a day. This is
True,
good
true.
stuff, you know?
Okay, so Studio Pure Vita is my coaching practice for couples and individuals that are going through transition. So if you find yourself saying, now what? That's a transition. And I can help you end up saying, hell yeah, as you arrive at your own personal Mount Everest. So that's how I help people. As far as the business end of my life goes, it's called White Lightning Communications, and that's for helping business owners create a passion-based corporate vision. It will give them a boost in their sales, and their employees will be engaged, and their clients will remain 100% loyal. So at this time, I'm joining forces with real estate agents, lawyers, spiritual leaders, coaches, etc., working with them to create a package with me that they can give to their parishioners or their clients that will help them through this process.
Awesome. So this is a joint venture for change you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. So, anyways, Amy, give out your website and your contact details.
Well, let me see, I have a couple. So why can't we be friends? Book.com will take you to all of these different companies.
So let's go here. That's www.whycan't can't why can't we be friends dot com.
Book.com.
Okay, so let's say it one more time. So your joint venture So you're doing joint ventures for change, and the website is www.whycan'twebefriendsbook.com.
Exactly.
All right, we got it now. And so, Amy, is that the best way to get a hold of you?
That is.
All right, very cool. So why can't we be friends book.com? I don't take lightly, Amy, that you are joining, that you are spearheading this movement to keep kindness, love, and respect in the separation process. That is so nicely put. I really enjoy that, and you're definitely passionate now about what you've done. So that workshop obviously worked for you 100-fold and more. So I don't take lightly that you took your time out to be with us and to share all these wonderful things, all of the sentiments. I felt you. I felt your compassion and your passion. And to be with Valerie Kanay. So on that note, I want to say I love you dearly, Amy.
I love you too, Valerie, and I look forward to seeing you back up in Toronto,
Oh
and
my
maybe I'll
God,
be
you
down
guys are gonna
in New
move me
York.
there. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
You have been listening to the Rich Flow of Life podcast with host Valerie Kanay. We're most appreciative you took the time to be with us, and thank you. For more action, go subscribe to Valerie Kanay Talks YouTube channel and like us on Facebook at Valerie Kanay Talks and follow us on Twitter at Valerie Kanay. Until next time, we love ya.